Okay, Graceful Explosion Machine. I'll try to walk you through a level without completely stinking as I talk. It's a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, except it's a bit different than your normal shmup or something you've played before, because there is a bullet hell kind of component to it at times, but it is all, where bullet hell would be usually very planned out and pre-plotted. There are sort of waves to Graceful Explosion Machine, but depending on where you would be at any given time, your experience would be different. So every single time you're playing through, it is a different kind of game. From world to world, level to level, there are different enemies to fight, and the main trick with this game is definitely the multiplier that I just lost. It's managing your weapons. So the one right now that I'm generally using, the forward weapon, it's the beam. It has no cost, or it has a cost that's extremely low, but the more you use it, it'll begin to heat up. You'll see me starting to smoke, and my rate of fire will go down, and then it'll actually get to the point where I can't fire at all. So you can abuse it, and you have to eventually stop. Then the other weapons, you can see my recharge meter at the bottom. They're filled by the power meter at the bottom, and you accumulate that by grabbing these little gems as you kill stuff. So the one that I keep using, I'm trying to remember the name of. There's like a plasma sword type of thing. It's very useful for defense and to a limited degree offense. Like if you're moving vertically, it's useful. Then there's the missile that I just used. That's actually very powerful, and you can use it quite a lot. Hold on a second, let me get it. So you can just hold it down and do sort of a crazy Macross kind of thing with it. The last one is a beam, which is really only useful against very specific enemies. That's a light piece of life. Of course. Let me try to see. It'll, your good old beam weapon that sort of destroys everything in its path. The different enemies pose different kinds of challenges. These little aqua guys, they're no big deal. They're really just cannon fodder for you getting your getting more energy. Oh man. As a note, I should have used my my plasma sword there, because it wipes out those projectiles. So it can be very helpful. Yeah, and then you die. But in general, it's a challenging game. Like, to get that S rank, you really have to be on your game. You have to basically move from conflict to conflict, never letting anything go for more than maybe about 4 or 5 seconds without something being hit or dying. Otherwise, your multiplier will drop, and if you get hit, your multiplier will drop. So if you want something like that S rank, you need to be, you need to have a really, really long run and get a really high multiplier. You don't have to avoid getting hit. If you lose your multiplier at some point, you can still get an S rank if you really got on a really good streak and get a high multiplier. If you want there's an S plus rank. That is if you you need to go the entire way without ever losing your multiplier. Have done it. It can be done. Depending on the level, it gets really difficult to do that. S ranks are hard enough. As you get into the higher worlds, S plus, that's getting a bit greedy. Because it's easy to lose your concentration, or your gun will lock up, and you'll end up getting in a tight situation you can't get out of. Oh, one thing I haven't talked about is one last thing is the warp. lets you go through enemies, but you cannot go through bullets, so you need to be very careful using it. And it isn't any good for vertical movement, only horizontal. So you have to really... I don't tend to use it much, except for when I'm going between engagements, so I can keep my multiplier up, because I don't like trying to warp through enemies. It makes me uncomfortable, because I don't know where I'll stop, and I don't know. I just oh, another I just lost my multiplier. Another nice thing is the ability to turn. What direction you're firing in is independent from the direction you're moving in. So I'm moving backwards. The advantage of that is I can do things like I just did. I can sort of fire forward while moving backward, and I can actually shoot missiles out the back to like clear the way. So there's at first people tend to get a little bit put off by the defender style. You can only you have a dedicated button for changing direction. But yeah, I am a firm believer in it. So that is about it. Nice timing. That's about it for Graceful Explosion Machine. Check out other reviews for me not talking over them and actually being more successful. All right.